Welcome to the Biz Easy podcast, where small business is simplified for greater results. Brought to you by Resources and Development. Go to www.resources-development.com for help in taking your business to the next level. And now, help me welcome the host of the Biz Easy podcast, Steve McCrillis.
Welcome to the Biz Easy podcast, coming to you from the small business capital of America, right here in Middle Tennessee, while reaching across the globe, translated in English for your listening pleasure. The Biz Easy Network, your resource to help take your business to the next level. Also, stay tuned to learn how you can get your free Biz Easy business tool gift at the end of this podcast. My name is Steve, your host, as we all learn how to stay better focused on the things that make your business great. Now, don't forget to buy our book on Amazon. Isn't it time your business becomes Biz Easy? Should have been Biz Easier. Anyway, if you enjoy the podcast, you'll love the book.
That'll be
and
the
I'd
sequel.
like to introduce you to my partner, our resident guru of coaching and our lead business coach, Skip Williams.
Hey, Steve, how are you doing today?
Excellent as always.
Oh, good. Did you know that Bigfoot is sometimes confused for Sasquatch, yet he never complains?
Oh, I like that. Play on words. Nice. I like that one. So any precursor to my intro about our podcast today? We're taking a special approach today, so you're going to have to listen up and pay attention. Anything you'd like to say in advance?
Yeah, I'm excited to try something different here. So hopefully we'll have fun with it. Hopefully it'll be fun for the listeners as well.
Well, let's not kid each other. We have fun every time.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're switching up the format. In the many years that Skip and I have traveled around the country to work with small business owners, our discoveries and analysis were, as you would imagine, started very conversational. In the blog that Skip wrote about Bob's business debacle, which is our subject today, he used a role play or a screenplay type of format. Now, so we're going to do that today on this podcast. Part of the time, Skip will be talking to you, the listener watcher, and at other times he'll be talking to me, the client business owner. Now, I'll be playing the role of Bob, the typical client. Now, Bob's debacle, as you will discover, as we have in our exploits with clients, starts with a problem, challenge, or concern, and ends with a solution always. But the actual concern, as Bob describes it, and the stated concern becomes concern. Can I say concern one more time? Concern
Sure.
of a different nature, as you will see, with a much easier solution. So listen carefully. How we start and how we end becomes differently. Oh, you're already switching up the format. I hope you can follow along with this. Now, just to make it funner, remember, I'm the client. I'm the business owner. I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the guy that has a business challenge. And I've called upon Skip and the Biz Easy Network and Resources and Develop to come in and do an analysis and discovery. Let's start.
All right. Hey,
Bob's
whenever I ask a business owner, let's call him Bob, what's your biggest challenge? They almost always answer,
I need more sales.
Then I ask, what's your biggest challenge? Like Bob, they often respond,
Because I'm not making enough money.
when I follow by asking, how much more money do you need? They typically give me a dollar amount that the company fell short that month while reconciling their expenses versus their income. Let's ask Bob. How much money do you need, Bob?
I need about $5,000 a month.
It's not unusual for business owners to know his deposits and the amount of money spent on bills to pay, a rudimentary cash flow process they go through each month because it is their money after all. So then I ask, Bob, what's your margin on what you sell? It's a little disconcerting to have Bob struggle with understanding exactly what that means, but I do take the time to break it down and explain the difference between margin and markup. But that's a topic for another day. Anyway, the number they provide varies, but again, for this example, let's ask Bob. So Bob, what's your margin on what you sell?
Margin. Give me a quick heads up on that number. Explain margin again.
Your margin is simply the difference between what you're paying for the materials to make the product versus what you're selling the product for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In that case, it's about 20%.
Okay, then I explained to Bob that every business needs more sales. Sales are the lifeblood of any business. But Bob, based on what you're telling me and the numbers that you've given me, do you realize that to make an extra $5,000 more a month, that you would need to sell 25,000 in additional sales over and above what you're doing now? Knowing your business as you do you think that's realistic?
So
He
in
scratches
order
his
for me
head.
so you're telling me to make $5,000 more, I need to sell $25,000? Wait,
Right.
I might be able to increase my sales anywhere from 5 to 8,000 bucks, but 25,000 does not sound realistic to me.
So we do the math and learn that the increased sales of 5 to 8,000 might reduce the shortfall by 1,200 to about 1,600 per month. I explained that when you increase the sales, you only enhance your bottom line by your margin. In this case, every time Bob sells $1 worth of product or service, he adds 20 cents to his bottom line. But when you work on saving on the expense side of the ledger, 100% of every dollar saved drops directly to the bottom line. With some additional explanation, Bob follows my reasoning, but still seems a bit dubious about exactly what to do next. So let's move on. Let me ask you, Bob, is it easier to gain $5 worth of new sales, or is it easier to reduce your expenses by $1? Because the effect on the bottom line is the same. I can see that he's thinking this through. More markers on the whiteboard ensues, and we pursue some additional explanation. When he answers,
So I can understand that in order to get additional $5,000 in cash each month, I need to sell more than $5,000 each month. So your explanation of margin, where for every dollar it goes 20 cents to the bottom line, that's what you explained, correct?
right?
Okay. But I do want to decrease expenses because I know that is going to significantly increase my bottom line as well. So if I have to answer your question, why do I have to pick one or the other?
You don't. Let's say that you can do both, Rob. You can reduce your expenses and increase sales. You've then achieved the hat trick in business because now you've reduced your break-even point so that you can start making money with less sales and become profitable earlier each month. Although these concepts are vital to all businesses, the terminology often takes small business owners off guard until each concept is broken down and they can see how it applies to their specific business. That's not to say that small business owners aren't intelligent. Quite the contrary. Small business owners are truly some of the most clever and insightful people I have ever met. Putting language to the application is challenging for anyone, while gaining greater understanding of the process. It is now that I ask Bob what expenses he can reduce. Bob, if you take a hard look at your current expenses, which ones do you think you can actually reduce?
Well, as you were explaining the whole margin thing, I was knowing that I could probably reduce a number of different things. Things come up like utilities, something simple like that, going more energy efficient. I know I could probably reduce the amount. In fact, I was talking about reducing the amount that I'm paying for the materials that I'm using because I can get a different supplier for the product. I know that I could probably cut my rent expense because I've already approached the landlord and said, I really need to do something here with the cost of everything increasing. So there's 3 or 4 right off the bat that I can think of. Labor expense. I got to be honest. I'm a little overstaffed. You can see my equipment behind me. I got a lot of operators. I got a lot of equipment. A lot of the machinery that I use is programmed. So I don't need that many operators. I hate to say that. Don't noise that around. So I've given you 4 or 5 things right there.
Right. So we make a list as we go. And once this list is made, I explain to Bob which expenses are overhead and which ones are cost of goods or COGS, which are the expenses it takes to produce the product or service that he's selling rather than what it costs to operate even without sales. As I look over the list from Bob, some are overhead while others are cost of goods. For example, rent, utilities, those would be considered overhead. And the materials reduction, that's a really good one, Bob, and maybe even some labor reduction. Those are cost of goods sold. I show him that it's great to reduce overhead expenses. Every time you reduce an overhead by $1, you add $1 to the bottom line. Then I show Bob that by reducing COGS, or the cost of producing what he sells by $1, as he increases sales, he'll save far more than $1.
Okay. Say what? Can you do that again?
Sure. It's time for a little deeper dive. Okay, Bob, let me break it down for you. Using the dollar as our basis, let's say you build 100 widgets over the course of a month, and you can save 1 penny per service by buying supplies or working more efficiently. At the end of the month, how much did you add to your bottom line?
Well, it's simple. 100 widgets multiplied by 1 cent equals $1.
Exactly. Correct, Bob. This is the example and in this example, that's probably more like 20 or $30 of savings per widget with those cuts you were talking about. And that'd be $2,000 or $3,000 a month. But let's stick with the 1 cent, $1 example just for easy math. How much additional money would drop to the bottom line if next month you did 150 widgets, not including the regular profit on the additional sales? And he promptly answers,
$1.50. Oh, I got it.
there
Now
we
that makes
go.
sense.
It's always gratifying for me to see a business owner have that aha moment. So as you can see, Bob, additional sales are a good way to improve your bottom line, but decreasing overhead will enhance the profit faster, and reducing your cost of goods will not only enhance your bottom line today, but also reduce future costs as you grow. The concepts described within this little scenario, as mentioned earlier, are fundamental to improving performance of a business. Big or small, applied to your own business, it becomes clear that the challenge of needing more sales is often a simple symptom of a much different problem. Not to be misunderstood, increasing sales in and of itself is challenging in any situation, but coupled with managing costs, you've really got a true solution now that's born. So I continued. Let me leave you with this, Bob. While it's true that rising tide lifts all boats, wouldn't it be smarter to build a boat that drafts in shallow waters so that you can fish while others are stuck in port?
There you go, trying to confuse me again, but no, I understand. That makes sense. I see. Okay. So I hope you were able to follow along with this little role play. But we become quite adept at asking questions and leading the client while making sure he doesn't feel like he's some kind of a doofus. We know that we're in a position to help the client by teaching him how the little things that he is doing right may enhance the real concern that he has by not knowing how they affect the bigger things he might be missing. Let me simplify that. Let's not forget how we started. Skip asked me, what did I think was the biggest challenge or concern in my business? And I said, need more sales. And then he turned that to, well, how much more sales you need? Because obviously it was because I needed more money. And then I said 5,000. And then he decided taking me down that path so I can understand. It wasn't as daunting as a concern, because if I could have increased more sales, I would have. Anybody wants to increase sales, but that is not always the answer. Many companies, many consulting organizations, and I'm not trying to downgrade anybody that's trying to help another client that's doing business. But the point of it is they always lead into, I need more sales, because they think that sales is the only answer. I've been with clients, countless clients, that the first thing that they said to me is, I don't care what you're going to tell me. All I need is for you to tell me how to get more sales. And what Skip did very effectively was say, okay, I need more sales, but I need more, how much do I need? When I said $5,000 a month, then he took me through how I could get 5,000 a month, which is kind of where I was on that path. But now it becomes easy. Now it becomes taking a small thing and making a bigger thing out of it.
And then we can drill down on each of those, right? So let's talk about that $5,000 to $8,000 you're going to increase sales. How are we going to do that? Are we going to change the sales process, improve the sales process, change our marketing, whatever? On the overhead, one of the things I often find is, especially if a company is struggling, and I've done a lot of turnaround work, they've already cut their overhead to the bone. Where the opportunity usually lies is in the cost of goods. You know, when 70 or 80 cents of every dollar is going to making those goods or services, there's usually plenty of meat on the bone to work with. Maybe we could automate some things so that we reduce labor per widget. Maybe we can get materials cheaper. Maybe we can change the flow. Maybe we can reduce sell off some inventory at a reduced rate to pick up some cash flow. But by drilling down, starting here and drilling down, we begin to learn where we should focus, and then we can start getting creative as to how to fix those challenges.
Sure. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. And many of the things that Skip talked about, I have done, or at least I know how to cut expenses. I know how to cut overhead, and I know where I can become a little bit leaner when it comes to my production facility, as I talked about my previous background. But nevertheless, it changed it because I was focused when I came into the conversation. I was focused on getting more sales, and suddenly I was diverted to some of the things that I know that can be done that might enhance it. Now, if I can enhance sales, like Skip was called in to do, suddenly I get the best of two worlds. I'm increasing my margin, I'm increasing my profit, which is obviously going to improve my cash position while increasing sales. So if you're able to take those three things and combine them, just imagine from small things, great things come to pass. I don't want to get biblical on you, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a typical scenario that we run into when we're meeting with new clients. Ask them their top three challenges. Invariably, it's I need more sales, I need more cash, I need more money to take home, and they're all kind of fit into the same thing, right? Or I can't get people to help me.
Well, I was going to say with that, my people are driving me crazy, or something along that lines.
Yeah, I don't have enough free time. Again, they all kind of boil down to the same things. That's why we created the Biz Easy Network, to make your life biz easier.
Yeah, you can go through this process yourself. Grab your top tier of your staff and put them in a room and go through this. We got a $5,000 shortfall. How do we make that up?
Yeah, that's the business we've been in collectively for over 50 years. We've enjoyed it because, as Skip pointed out in his missive, when you get that client to see that aha moment where they know that they can get a hold of it and they know that they can do some of those things, whether they need help or not, we just want them to succeed. We want every small business to succeed. Let's be honest.
And those are the 3 years that produce profit, right? Sales, controlling overhead, and controlling cost of goods. So those 3 gears, when they're humming, will turn out profit faster than you might think it can.
There you go. And as P.T. Barnum once said, that and a few million details, that's all there is to it.
That's it. That was easy. Next.
Yeah, that's right. So, we did promise a free gift today for listening, and I imagine that gift is somewhere going to identify exactly how these numbers can be brought together. Is that fair, Skip?
I think that's fair.
Good. What do we got?
Let's roll tape.
This week's free gift is our price increase business tool. This tool is designed to help determine more effectively if and by how much you can raise prices without jeopardizing your business traffic and or your sales revenues. Now, many are concerned about rising prices, but as rising costs are imminent, raising your price is inevitable. So let's let Skip show us around the tool.
Thanks, Steve. I hope this is going to be a really handy little tool for business owners that are contemplating price increases, and we should always be looking to increase our prices and pushing that envelope whenever possible. So this tool is designed to do the calculations one of two ways. You can either choose to do it based on your company financials, or you can do it on your unit sales and your unit costs. So you can use the left-hand side for one and the right for the other. As with all the spreadsheets, you just put information in the white boxes, and when you hover over these white boxes, it'll tell you what type of information goes in each one of these. So here we're contemplating a 10% price increase based on company financials. We put those financials in here, and we're guessing that we expect to lose 10% of our customers with that increase, and it shows us that we're still going to make $60,000 more than the $300,000 we're making right now, even with those loss of sales. It shows that we can lose up to 250 sales and still break even and make the same amount of money. Over here on the unit sales side, same way, you just fill in the boxes, the unit price, unit cost, expected loss, how many sales you're presently doing for this period, and it shows that we're doing 100 sales less, but we're making $6,000 more. Now let me just change that to say we didn't lose any customers. We'd be making a whopping $40,000 instead of 30,000 in this example. And again, 250, we would lose 250 sales and still break even with a lot less work. This also will show you commissions on sales, and at a 100% sales, 0% loss, we'd be paying a little bit more. But let's say we put that 10% loss back in there. It shows us that we would be paying less commissions on less sales and making more money. Steve, I hope this tool is helpful to all of our business owners out there when they're contemplating a price increase. I found it to be very useful when working with clients.
Excellent. As Skip mentioned, embedded in the tool are individual drop-down menus that walk you through data inputs and their usage. Now, this tool, as Skip mentioned, has been very valuable to show our clients how increasing their price can actually increase their profits without losing customers. Now, we hope this makes your business a little bit more predictable and a little bit more profitable. And the way to get your copy of the price increase tool for free is to go to the podcast page, the products page at resources-development.com and use the coupon code INCREASE, that's INCREASE, to get yours absolutely free. Now, this product is normally sold for $19.95 value that you receive free for listening to us today. Our gift to help make your life biz easier.
Thanks, everybody. I hope it helps.
You know, I think most people don't like to get into a budgeting process. Here we are coming towards the end of the year, whatever your end of year is. Get prepared, start planning, start looking at the next year so that you can come into the new year, with guns a-blazing. I don't know how many people do that kind of planning. You should. If you don't, you should. So that if you are not where you were on your target goals for this year, you could get a better start next year. Anyway, that's all I got, Skip. I think I'm talked out. I hit my word limit. What about you?
All right. Yeah, just everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I think this is the last episode of the season, but I think, Steve, maybe we could put a bonus episode out as well. What do you think?
Hey, there's a plan. Let's put a bonus episode. Next time it drops on a Monday. Every other Monday it drops, and you'll have a bonus episode.
Excellent.
So, with that
is a wrap.
Woo! That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to today's BizEasy podcast. If you enjoyed our broadcast, we would kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and share with other entrepreneurs. See you next time on the BizEasy podcast, where business is simplified for greater results.